Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. It's good to have you. Today I want to talk about applying for a position at the USPS. It is a process that I've done over the years 3 times. So I've learned a few things about it, and I just like to share what I know and to put your mind more at ease, because I know it's a stressful process when you apply for work there. So let's get right into this video and talk about step one. Of course, step one is you applying. You go online, you see there's an opening at the USPS, maybe you found it through the career section of the website, and you found something that you think you might be interested in. Usually the positions that are available will be things like RCAs, those are the rural route carriers, CCAs, the city carriers, the letter carriers, the traditional mailman type position. Or it might be a plant person like a PSE, a postal services employee, where you'll work in a plant in various capacities, processing mail and packages and things like that. So usually those are the positions that are available, and you apply for one or more at one time, depending on your geography, where you're living, and what's available. So you apply for this position, and you will get an immediate response, and usually they're going to require that you take some sort of exam. And the exams have numbers to them. And you're going to find that in any position you apply for at the USPS, because it technically is a federal job, you get all these confusing things associated with being federal. Things like form numbers, test numbers, strange names for documents, also statuses that are hard to interpret. That's because it's federal. It's not a big deal. Don't stress on that. So when you get the response and it says you need to take an exam, it's as simple as you logging in and you're taking an exam. You don't need to do any pre-work. You don't need to do any pre-studying for these exams. I've taken 3 different runs from 3 different positions that I've applied for. Now, there are tips and tricks out there for getting in the high 90s and even up to 100% on one of these exams. And there's some videos on YouTube where they actually will have some, print screens and some sort of, strategy that they'll share that will help you with the exams. And they're not bad videos, so I do suggest you searching those down and, just giving them a look-see. But don't stress yourself on these tests. Basically, you want to kind of go overboard in your answers. You want to say that you're extremely a team player. You want to say that you overwhelmingly want to help people. You want to say that you're totally into your job and it's the most important thing. Those kind of responses. You kind of need to always be at the exaggerated end of those, the top of the scale with those responses. Okay? That's just a general guideline for you. If you do that, you're going to get in the 90s. You'll be fine. Now, technically, you need a 70 or better to pass. You would get way higher than that if you just apply that one little strategy that I shared with you. But like I said, there are a couple videos out there. I'll just search them down. Now, once you pass this test, then you can actually go online and see what score you got. There is a place you can go, and again, these videos, they outline that. Now, the next step in the process is you're going to be told that you need to fill out a questionnaire. And it has some number to it, and it's irrelevant what the number is. It doesn't matter. It's a questionnaire. It's a lengthy questionnaire. This will take you a good half hour to fill out. It requires a job history for the last 5 years. It requires basically where you've lived for the last 5 years. There's a lot of questions on there, and it's not hard, but it does take some time. So you're not going to just zip through this questionnaire. You have to fill it out correctly, because a lot of that is used as a basis for your background check. Okay, and that's also something that you're going to have in this process. So in conjunction with this, when a position does become available, and they offer you the position and sort of an extension of the offer. They're going to also require that you take some fingerprinting. So you're going to have to go to the local post office that handles fingerprinting, and you do digital fingerprinting. It's not a big deal. It's just a matter. Some places you can just walk in. Some places you have to make an appointment. You'll be given a number and your phone number to call if you need to call ahead. So that's not a big problem at all. So I've talked about several things here. I've talked about the test that you take after you apply. I talked about this questionnaire that you're going to have to complete. I also talked about the fingerprinting process. Now, you're going to be given emails throughout this process. Almost always, but not always. Sometimes you even get a phone call. Yes, that's happened to me once, where I got a phone call notifying me of the need for fingerprints and not an email. So it just depends. There's no set way. Yes, there's a general guideline for how they handle you through each step of the process of getting a job there, but it's not always followed that way. It just depends where you're at. So when you watch videos and people are outlining step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, hey, step 4 could be before step 3, step 3 could be right after, step 4 in their outline. It just depends on the process of where you're at. Okay, now there's a lot of deadlines they give you when the post office gives you when they send you emails, and they say you have 2 days to accomplish this, or they make it seem so critical. And yeah, okay, get it done within 2 days, whatever their deadlines are, But again, this is mostly a hurry up and wait process. And that's what drives a lot of applicants crazy in this process, is that they will do all of their stuff so diligently and they just want a response. Well, it's the Postal Service. They're not going to give you a response in a timely fashion. A lot of positions seem to be, when I've done this, I've done it 3 times, right? I've gone through this process. In 2 of the 3, they were immediately looking for people to fill the positions. One was the CCA and the other was the RCA. For the PSE, I had to wait a while for a position to become available. So you have to remember that. You can go through this process and be accepted and see that your status is basically an offer, but they still have to wait sometimes for the previous person to retire, or however they leave that position. Or it's just administratively taking time because they have to apply for the position. It has to be approved by management. It has to be, go through HR, and then it gets posted. So this can take time, and it just depends. Some sites, some places, some offices are more efficient than others, and that's just how it goes. So you have to wait, and you'll hear that often. You got to be patient. Yes, you do. You have to be patient. The important thing in this process is do your part, do what you need to do in each step of the way. Check your emails and don't, fall behind. But also realize that everyone on the USPS side is starting from a different position when it comes to posting these jobs and when it comes to, processing the paperwork. Okay? So you just have to be patient. And again, don't get tripped up on what things are called and all of that. I mean, wait till you see your first pay stub. Oh my gosh. It is so complicated, and there are so many boxes, and there's so many acronyms. You won't understand anything except basically the gross and net amount of your pay. It's the only thing you're going to understand. So with that in mind, it makes sense that every other thing involved in the USPS is complicated, right? Overly. So stay positive and, just get on with your life in the meantime. Don't be quitting jobs you have in hopes that the USPS is going to contact you in a day or a week. Stay with your previous job as long as you can, and this will work itself out. Now, one other thing I do want to say, that often in the postings, if you go back to the original posting of the position, usually you'll have to do this online, you will notice that there's a contact person. They started doing this a while ago, and there will be an email address and even a phone number. Don't, even try the phone number, you won't get through. But as far as the email, I've had luck. Twice I've emailed the contact with questions that I had, and I did get a response both times, albeit very brief responses and not very helpful. Because the bottom line is, you just need to wait. It takes time. And it can take you from start to finish as quick as 2 or 3 weeks to as long as 3 or 4 months. It just depends. Okay? But stay positive and don't let it bring you down in this process. And again, you're doing everything you need to do, and you are qualified. You have passed this test and fill out that questionnaire, and I'm sure your background check is fine, and your fingerprinting will happen, and you will get called up. You just need to be patient. So please like this video. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.